the next lecture of lesson number 9, coordination compounds, and this is the last lecture. In this lecture we will be starting with the topic color of the octahedral complexes. Now we know that the coordination compounds are made up of, they have central metal atom as the transition metal atoms, and these transition metals are themselves colored. So the coordination compounds are also colored compounds, and we have to study why they are colored. Now we have seen in the previous lecture that the d orbitals in octahedral field is split into two groups, that is T2G and EG, and the difference between the two states, that is T2G and EG, is denoted by your delta O, and delta O can also be denoted as 10dQ. Okay, 10dQ. Now this delta O value can be measured experimentally. And what does this value indicate? This delta corresponds to the certain frequency of light in the visible region. Now visible region, the frequency is from 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer, and if electron absorbs energy in this radiation or in this spectrum, this region, then it emits light of the complementary color, and you can see that complex as the colored complex. So delta 0 corresponds to certain frequency of light in the visible region, and if the electron absorbs that energy, it will reflect the complementary frequency, and due to which the transition complexes or this coordination complexes appears as colored complexes. Examples are this titanium complex TiH2O6. This is an octahedral complex with titanium having 3+ as oxidation state. Now this complex, the splitting between the two T2G and EG is 20,300 centimeter inverse, and this corresponds to the green light of your visible region. But then what is the color of that complex? It appears to us as violet. Why this is? Because it absorbs the green light and emits the corresponding frequency of violet light. So to our eyes, the complex appears as violet. Similarly, you have seen copper complexes also, and you may very well know that copper complexes appear blue in color. But what is the absorbing light? It absorbs red light and it transmits blue light. So since it is transmitting blue light, it is appearing blue to our eyes, and we say that copper is blue color. Copper complexes are blue in color. Now let's see this diagram where you can see the transition of the electron. Now we have studied this in previous examples also. The titanium electronic configuration is atomic number 22. So you can write the electronic configuration as argon 18 and the valence electron shell configuration as 3d2 and 4s2. Okay, so titanium in this complex is having oxidation 3+, so it will lose 3 electrons. So what will be the valence electron configuration? 3d1 and 4s0. So the last electron, the d electron, it is having only one d electron, and it is residing in T2G orbital. So what happens when the complex absorbs energy? This gap T2G and EG. This I have shown T2G levels and EG levels. So what is the gap between these two? It is delta O is here 20,300 centimeter inverse or 520 nanometer. Now this 520, as I have said, the visible region is between 400 to 700. So this comes in your visible region. So what happens? These electrons in T2G orbital absorbs energy and get transferred to the EG orbital. So this energy is nothing but the difference, and that's why it emits which light? Violet light. The corresponding complementary frequency is emitted, and that's why your complex appears violet. Now your delta O is nothing but the energy difference between these two orbitals T2G and EG. You know E is nothing but your h mu frequency, and this is nothing but your lambda. So as the difference between the two orbitals, this EG and T2G orbitals, as the delta E increases or your delta O increases, what happens? Your frequency also increases, but your lambda, that is your wavelength, decreases. Okay, so this is the reason why your octahedral complexes appear colorful. Now moving on to the next topic, that is the CFE in your tetrahedral complexes. Now tetrahedral complexes also show splitting of d orbitals, but it is different than that we observe in octahedral complexes. So let's see why it is the difference. The orbital electronic configuration diagram is exactly opposite which we have seen in the octahedral compounds. So what is the reason behind that? Let's see for tetrahedral complexes. Tetrahedral complexes. Now we can show the complex or the metal in a cube, so it will be easy for, this is the metal, suppose. So tetrahedral means how many ligands are there? 4 ligands. So it is one ligand is over here. Okay, one ligand is over here. One is here. This is the third one, and this is the fourth one. Okay, now we can write, this is the x-axis, this is your y-axis, and this is your z-axis. Okay, this is your z-axis. So now you can see the ligands, they are not actually located. We have seen that 5 d orbitals are there: dxy, dyz, dxz, and dx square minus y square and dz square. These are axial orbitals and these are not non-axial orbitals. So the ligands in the tetrahedral complexes, they are not located axially, they are located in between. You can see the ligands are in between the axis, they are not along the axis. So what happens? The metal orbitals lying along this direction will experience more repulsion from the ligands, and these 3 orbitals are therefore raised in energy, and these axial orbitals are decreased in energy. You can draw the diagram like this. So these T2G orbitals are raised in energy, and these EG orbitals are lowered in energy in the tetrahedral complexes. This difference is now represented as the delta only, but the suffix is TET. Okay, the suffix written is TET. Now you can also write here, I am also writing here for the octahedral, just for the comparison of the delta values. So now this is for tetrahedral, this is for octahedral. Okay, this is for tetrahedrals. Splitting of d orbitals. Splitting of d orbitals in tetrahedral environment and in the octahedral environment. So in tetrahedral what happens? T2G orbitals are raised in energy and Eg orbitals are lowered in energy. Let's see what is the, here we have seen previously also. So these are increased by 0.4 delta T or 4 dQ or 2 by 5 delta T. Any one of this can be shown to write the energy of these orbitals. And these Eg orbitals are lowered by 0.6 delta T or your 6 dQ or 3 by 5 delta T. Any one of these can be used to show the energy level of these orbitals. So what happened in tetrahedral? Now you can see this diagram I have drawn purposely here to see the difference of energy between the T2G and Eg orbitals in octahedral and tetrahedral. From this diagram you can make out that the splitting of d orbitals in tetrahedral is less than the octahedral complexes. Hence, in the tetrahedral complexes, the electrons don't get paired up because this energy is less. So, electrons will occupy all the orbitals and then they will pair up. Okay, so pairing energy is more. So, they will not pair up. So, tetrahedral complexes are high spin complexes. High spin, why high spin? Because the energy difference is less, so electrons will fill up. Okay, they will not pair up, they will fill up, and then after all the orbitals are filled, they will start pairing. This pairing energy is more, therefore pairing is not favored. Pairing is not favored in tetrahedral complexes. So what is the energy difference we can write? Delta of tetrahedral is 4 by 9 times that of octahedral. Okay, delta T is 4 by 9 times that of delta O, that is octahedral. So that's why we can say that the energy gap between the T2G and Eg in tetrahedral is 4 by 9 times less than the corresponding energy gap in your octahedral complexes. Therefore, the splitting is less, therefore pairing will not take place, and tetrahedral complexes are high spin or spin-free complexes. Spin-free complexes. Okay, this is the tetrahedral complex. With this we come to the last point of the chapter, that is the applications. So let's see what are the applications. Applications of the coordination. Application of the coordination compounds. Now first is with related to your biology. First application you find it in your biology. Many complexes or many natural compounds, they have metal complexes and they play an important role in the processes which occur in the plants and animals. Example here chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a green color pigment. Chlorophyll, why does it appear green? Because it has magnesium complex. Okay, the complex in it is magnesium complex. Now your blood has hemoglobin in it, which gives your blood a red color. Why your blood is having red color? Because it is having Fe complex. Iron complex is present. That's why it is having red color. Moving on to the next application in medicines. In introduction itself we have seen platinum complex, cisplatin. We have started the introduction with cisplatin. Okay, and we have said that it is used in cancer treatment. It is used in cancer treatment. Okay. Next is your EDTA, and EDTA is used when lead poisoning is there. So if anyone has lead poisoning, then EDTA is used for the treatment. Third application is to estimate the hardness of water. Hardness of water. Now we say water is hard. Why water is hard? Sometimes because it contains calcium and magnesium ions. So if this calcium and magnesium ions are present in your water, then your water becomes hard. So how do you determine its hardness? This complex EDTA ligand form complexes with this calcium and magnesium ions, and using that complex we can estimate the hardness of the water. Last one is the electroplating. Find applications in electroplating. Electroplating. Now these complexes, they dissolve to some extent, and then this metal ions, they form, when you electrolyze them, they form clusters. But if ligands are there, they don't form clusters, they are well separated. And these metal complexes are generally used in the electroplating of the noble elements like your gold and silver. So potassium complex with your cyanide, with both silver and your gold, is used for these two complexes. This is used for your gold electroplating, and this is used for your silver electroplating. So these are the uses, or you can say applications, of the coordination compounds in biology, in medicines, and in estimating the hardness of water, and lastly in electroplating. With this we come to the end of this chapter.